What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bird Flock. We got another special guest here today, former sixth rounder, the leading rusher of the Montreal Alouettes, and a former Vanier Cup winner in Calgary, Jeshrun Antwi. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Man, how you doing? I know it's been a long off season so far. You're excited to get going, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just being back in Calgary in off season, working and just training and just getting ready for the season.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk to you a bit about Calgary. Obviously, you were born in Israel, moved to Ghana at a young age, and then came over to Canada and from Calgary. And you only started playing football at 14. Dude, that's crazy. The fact that you got involved in how did that even happen? How did you kind of get introduced to the game of football?
Yeah, no. So there have been plenty of people who have sort of kind of helped me get to this stage of my life that I am right now, and mainly my grade 10, my high school, my principal when I was in high school. Her name's Kate Miller. She's also my Canadian mother. Sort of kind of like a stepmom to me. Her and her husband. My high school football basketball coach, Ian Couture, and the person that actually got me playing football was Ian Couture. And pretty much when I was in junior high, I played flag football. That was the first time I ever played football, and I, we went to our prospective high schools to kind of decide what high schools we're gonna go to. And at the time, Ian Couture there, he was a basketball coach and football coach, and so he just kind of approached me and said, "Hey, you should come out and play football." And at first, I was very skeptical because it looked like a bunch of guys with helmets and shoulder pads on. They're looking to hurt each other, right? And so I was not too keen on playing football, but he sort of just convinced me, "Hey, look, you have the size, you got the weight, you're going to be the one that is inflicting pain, not the other way around." And so once I sort of kind of got my head around that, just kind of took off from there.
Were you a running back from day one, or you had to adapt into that role from somewhere else?
Yeah, so I mean, I played, high school football, played all positions. I played some boundary half, played some safety, played some linebacker, played running back, played receiver, just kind of did it all. But once I got recruited to the University of Calgary, I was either going to play linebacker or running back. And they put me a running back and just kind of never looked back from there.
It's one thing to be like a natural athlete and playing football for the first time, but at one point did you actually realize that, damn, like I'm actually really good at this? Like I could play pro here.
Yeah, I think me personally, I never because I started playing only in high school. It was never the goal or the dream to play in the CFL. I was just sort of kind of playing. But I think in 2016 in that Vanier Cup, the way that I came out against a very strong Laval defense, we would obviously end up going on to lose our game. But when I came out against that Laval defense, which at the time was very strong, it gave me the confidence that should the opportunity present itself for me to go pro or play the CFL, that I had no doubt that I could.
Yeah, and you played in Calgary, and then you were still relatively young to the country. But how much does it mean that you could play professional football in that country? Like what was that opportunity for you to be able to stay in Canada and play in a pro league?
Yeah, it means a lot to come here. My mother came in 2005, and so we just came to join her. And again, there was no plan for me to play pro football. I didn't even know about football then. I played soccer growing up. I ran track growing up in Ghana, and so it means a lot just to be able to say like I'm a professional athlete, in a Canadian football league. It's something that every day when I'm training, when I wake up, it's like it feels unreal because there aren't many people who get to say they play a professional sport for a living, and they get to get paid to play a professional sport. So yeah, every day I cherish it, and I never forget what that feels like.
Yeah, and obviously you look in the States, it's just like a whole bunch of different like rules and the size of the field and stuff like that. So you have a lot of American teammates, obviously. How much do you think you growing up in Canada benefits your game compared to having to come over, those guys having to come over and adapt to it?
I mean, to me, football is football. And so although our field is bigger and there are a few different rules, like the fair catch and then the 5 yard halo and the penalty that's associated with it, like those type of rules, I feel like if you're a good football player, if you are a cerebral football player, I don't think it's that hard. Once, if you're a receiver, once you learn to motion down a line, if you're a quarterback, once you learn to get your cadence and rhythm with the receivers attacking the line of scrimmage, um, then everything just kind of takes care of itself. So me personally, I don't know if I feel like it gives us an upper hand. I think because we play here, we're very used to it, and so maybe there isn't much of a learning curve. But I don't think there's that steep of a learning curve. I think if you're a good football player, football's football, and so if you're just learning the game, it might take you maybe all the training camp, and then after training camp, maybe first couple games preseason, then you should be going. So I don't know if I see it as something that gives us an upper hand per se.
Yeah. And something that obviously was different for you that you did have to adjust when you got drafted, how much did you actually know about Montreal and what happens around here?
And honestly, I knew a little bit about Montreal because I had also lived in Montreal when I was in grade
Okay.
eight. I had a first semester out of Montreal, living in Pierrefonds and going to Sauvage Aventura. And so I didn't have that big of a recollection living there, but I had heard of Montreal. I knew a little bit about it. I have lived there for just under half a year, so or a few 4 to 6 months, and so I was just looking forward to coming back. But honestly, I was just super excited to have been drafted. I wasn't really thinking of anything else other than somebody decided to draft me, and so I should just pack my bags and get ready to go.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you played with Montreal's first round pick last year, Tyson Philpott. You played with him in Calgary. How much did he kind of rely on you to show him around Montreal and stuff like that?
Oh man, and not much. Tyson's we had a bit of a Tuesday tradition going on. We would go to the movies every Tuesday. Myself, Tyson, Kenyon, and Trayshawn, who'd end up coming midway through the season. But Tyson's I can't say enough good things about that kid. He's grown so much, he's matured so much, and what he did in his first year, I knew he was gonna do. Coming out of the draft, both him and the twins, they went to the combine and it was like they didn't, run fast 40s or in the one-on-ones, their routes were not that crisp or whatever. But to me, I knew what those guys could do. But yeah, Tyson, he didn't need me much. He's very independent person, very outgoing guy. He just kind of gets around Montreal by himself. He's yeah,
Yeah, we had
good
him
kid.
on last week, and the only thing he asked us for was a couple recommendations to where to eat. So you might have to help him
Yeah,
out on that this season.
no, yeah, absolutely, yeah, always.
Speaking of another guest we had on, we had William Stanback was our first guest that we had. And he talked about you and Walter Fletcher and the three-headed monster that could be in the backfield. What does that mean to you
Yeah,
when like a guy who's like the no doubt starter that everybody knows, that everybody sees as one of the faces of the team, wants you there and wants you to get the fame that you deserve?
yeah, no, for sure. Stan, he's like a big brother to me. Came in 2019 when I went to camp. He was right away. I knew he was a guy, and I also knew it was gonna be no egos. Even as a starter, he's there for me. He's always encouraging me. He showed me how to be a pro. In the sense of watching film, how to study the game, and all those things, and most importantly, how to bounce back when things don't go your way. Last couple of years I've had a tough game to end the 2019, and then this year had a few games where there's whatever you're gonna call it, luck. The ball just kind of got away from me. But Steinbeck's been he's been such a good friend, great mentor, good big brother, and yeah, it means a lot to have him say those things about me. Because we as an athlete, you want to be on the field. As a competitor, you want to be the guy too. And we all know how the logistics of that works. Obviously Stein, MOP nominee, has the potential to be a face of the league. And so, hearing him say that gives me the confidence that I can also, work my way to get to where he is.
Mhm. And he went down in week 1 last year, and obviously you took over, like I said before, became the leading rusher on the team. What was going through your mind when you saw that happen?
Honestly, when he went down, it was more so like I felt for him because we had talked about all off season what he was going to do, the numbers he was going to put up, and and that's a man with a family, and so you hate to see that those kind of injuries happen and those incidents happen, and at the same time, I also understood that that's Will Steinbeck. He's our heart, and so and so when he got injured, you felt like some of the elite leave the room. And to me, I felt like I had to find a way to re-energize and reignite our offense and our team, and for them to feel like even though Steinbach's out, I can step in and I can help us win again. And obviously, again, would have loved to have come out with a win, because that would have been that much better to win for him. And really, when I was playing for him. Everything I was doing on the field, I was just thinking I gotta run hard or I gotta pass block better because this is what Steinbach would have done.
So, would you say that you felt like an elevated pressure, or you just went out there and you're like, "I gotta be me. Like, I don't have to be stand back. I could be."
Yeah, yeah, definitely not any elevated pressure because to me that's why you prepare, right? That's why you sit behind a guy like Steinbach. That's why you go to the meetings. That's why you watch a film. That's why you train all season. So if should that opportunity present itself, you can step in at ease because if you have been preparing, then there's no pressure. We're playing football. There really shouldn't be any pressure. And at the end of the day, me and Stan, we're two very different styles of play, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Right? Stan, he's bigger. He's more of a bruiser. I would say. I think between you talk about a three-headed monster. Between Fletch, Stan, myself and Stan. Like Fletch is quicker, shiftier, no question. Fast, and then you have the bruiser. And to me, I feel like I fit in between those two, like just the perfect mode. Sometimes I can come out and be a bruiser if I need to, and other times I can try to get around guys in some different ways. But yeah, certainly no pressure. Just felt like that's what I needed to do was just to step up and give our team a proof and hope that we could win a game. And I think I did that.
Yeah, I think you definitely did that. You definitely stepped in and you filled the role perfectly as, um, he was obviously on the sideline during the games, but throughout the week of practice, was he still there in your corner, kind of available if you had any questions and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Because it's
one
one
hundred
thing to
percent.
go to
Like
the coach, but it's also another thing to go to the player that.
yeah, exactly. No, yeah, he obviously he had to get the surgery and rehab and all those things, but once he was able to be around the facility, it was very easy. And even when he wasn't around, I was texting him, checking on him. He'd watch the games, kind of text me at halftime, see what he's seeing. And once he was able to do his rehab in the facility, he's like a second coach, as you said, except he's actually been on the field and he kind of sees it from a player's perspective. So his input was hugely was huge to me.
So now that obviously he's back, you guys are both uh fully healthy, I'm assuming, going into this season. I know it's still a ways away, but unfortunately Walter Fletcher right now isn't under contract. So we're just gonna go off
Yeah,
the basis that it's gonna be you and stand back. What do you
yeah.
see as that as the two-headed monster? What do you feel that's coming in the season?
I mean, like I feel like I have given enough the front office the confidence to show them that I could also be a guy behind standback who can also take carries. I don't think that was very evident in 2019. But with if whether it's me and Stan back there, or if Fletcher is able to work out a deal and be back, one of the prospects, we hired Coach Jason Mazza as our head coach and offensive coordinator this year. And one of the things that I think listen to guys around the league he does is he just moves the ball around a lot, and so he tries to put guys in positions to succeed. And so if it's the three of us, then we're gonna look to deploy all three of us, and I'm sure Coach Mars will figure that out. And if it's myself and Stan, then I think he's gonna do that same thing too. But just the whole idea excites me. Whether it's the three of us or the two of us, we know we're playmakers. We know what we can do, and so it will be a very dangerous backfield.
Yeah, you kind of
The
led
two
into
of
my
us.
next question with Jason Moss coming in. Have you spoken to him at all, or you're just going off
I
what
have.
people have told?
No, I have. Yeah, I have spoken to Coach Mons. Yes.
So he's basically told you what he's expecting for you, and what
Well,
if you could share
yeah,
that, what would that be?
yeah, 100%. That no, the feeling I get from Coach Miles is just straightforward guy, hardworking coach. Super respectable, and he just wants guys that are going to show up and go to work. And to me, that's what you want in a head coach. Just a guy that's going to come in and we're going to pin our ears back and we're just going to work hard. At the end of the day, we want to win football games. But if the effort and the dedication and the preparation is there, we put ourselves in a position to be able to dictate how the outcome of the game goes, right? And we're not going to leave to anybody else. So I just need to make sure I come into camp in shape, ready to go, and everything is going to be earned. Nothing's going to be handed to anybody. So I just need to do my job this off season and go into camp, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, and something that he does a lot is like you mentioned, a lot. He spreads the ball a lot. He passes the ball a lot. Last year, you had 30 catches, which is a lot for a CFL running back because they don't.
Yeah.
It's not dumped down very often. But is that something you pride yourself in, being able to leak out in the flats, and like something you want to even go further?
Absolutely. I think in football, the more you can do, the better. So as a Canadian running back, I pride myself on being able to block first. I feel like being able to catch a ball out of the backfield is a huge compliment to my game. And so it's something that I am going to kind of keep refining and retuning and coming into the season and show in training camp that I can line up, maybe in the slot, even sometimes coming out of the backfield a lot more. But I think being able to catch the ball in the backfield, if you can do that very well, it just adds a whole different dynamic to the pass offense. When you're in there, the defense doesn't know that we're going to like run the ball. So being able to do that is a huge aspect of my game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of slowly start wrapping up the interview here. I don't know if you've seen some of the other episodes we had, but we always ask one question at the end, just trying to see if people actually, like, you guys know what's going on in the stands and stuff. Everything that's going on in Montreal now is like a whole bunch of stuff, contracts and everything. It's so much going on. So we're just trying to lighten the mood here at the end of. So we're gonna play a game here. It's just guess the price. I'm gonna give you a price of food that they sell at the stadium. I want you to guess how much you think it is. So
all right.
Us as the fans, we're going to eat. It's halftime or whatever. We order a piece of pizza. One piece of pizza. How much do you think that piece is?
$7.50.
Dude, how did you know that? that was like spot on.
That was a guess.
That was spot on.
Was it actually?
Yeah, I swear.
Yeah.
That's
that was
crazy.
A guess.
That was crazy. You must have been going to buy something or something to buy something for you.
Nah.
And one last thing here before we wrap it up. William Stanback said the coaches get hot dogs during halftime. Do they give you guys anything or?
Hot dogs.
Yeah, William Stanback said when he was hurt, he was stealing some of the coaches' hot dogs at halftime.
Really? That's the first time. That was the first time I'm hearing that. He's Stanback though, so it makes sense. Yeah, no, I have to. Halftime. Yeah, no, we don't get anything. I mean, we have snacks and our Gatorades and all that stuff in the locker room. And I think we have our gum, bananas, trail mixes, some granola bars. But yeah, no, we're definitely not eating hot dogs. Hopefully, they're not trying to feed us hot dogs at halftime. That's I would not want to come out.
I mean, he said it was only when he was hurt. So
yeah, I was gonna say when you're hurt, if you're hurt and you're not playing, by all means go for it. But yeah, hopefully as a player in pads, I'm not seeing guys chow down on hot dogs and glizzies. Stanback's a glizzy monster though, so you guys gotta watch out for him. He's a glizzy monster. I'm not sure if he told you guys that, but yeah.
Oh no, he didn't say that necessarily, but yeah, he said he was munching on them when he was hurt. So, anyways, Jeshrun, I just wanted to thank you again for hopping on with us. Had a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Uh, I'm sure we're gonna be, talking more as the season goes on, man. I just
For
appreciate
sure.
you and good luck this year, man.
Thanks for having me.